Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We really try to cut through the noise, get straight to what matters. And today, our mission really is to understand the complex, deep-rooted hostility between Iran and Israel.
Hmm.
We want to give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on, it's one of the most critical geopolitical relationships out there.
That's absolutely right. And what's so crucial here is that this isn't just, one single conflict. It's more like a deeply tangled web.
A web. Yeah.
Yeah, of historical issues, political moves, significant religious and ideological differences, definitely,
Yeah.
and these intense regional power struggles.
Great.
Understanding how all these pieces weave together is really the key to getting a handle on the whole situation. They influence each other constantly.
So if we're trying to get to the absolute, the deepest roots here, where do we even start?
Well, I think you have to start with the foundational clash. You've got Israel as a Jewish state, which is unique in the Middle East,
Right.
and that stands in, direct ideological opposition to Iran's revolutionary Shiite identity.
Okay.
And this isn't just about, say, different religions trying to coexist. Iran's Islamic revolutionary government fundamentally views Israel as an illegitimate state.
Illegitimate. That's strong.
It is. And their revolutionary ideology, it's not just anti-Israel in a vacuum. It's part of a political doctrine that aims to sort of export its own model of governance across the Islamic world.
Export it.
Yeah, challenging the existing power structures. And states like Israel are seen as completely opposed, antithetical, really, to that whole vision. The Palestinian cause becomes a critical part of that larger goal.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds less like a simple disagreement and more like a total rejection of the other side's right to even exist, actually baked into a national ideology.
Exactly.
So what are the sort of practical results of having such a deep core ideological difference like that?
Well, it feeds directly into the next major piece, which is the Palestine issue. This isn't just talk, not just rhetoric. Iran consistently provides real, tangible support, financial and military, to anti-Israel groups. Think Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Okay.
And this isn't purely altruistic support for those groups either. It's also a calculated move, part of Iran's bigger strategy to expand its regional power.
Ah, okay.
By backing these non-state actors, Iran projects its influence way beyond its actual borders. Right? It creates this network of allies and proxies that really challenge the status quo in the region.
So it's a really stark contrast then. One side sees maybe legitimate resistance, the other calls it terrorism flat out. And just that difference in wording, that semantic gap, it deepens the whole conflict. It turns what could be maybe a local issue into, a proxy battlefield for these bigger regional goals.
Precisely.
And speaking of those regional ambitions, Iran clearly wants to expand its influence across the Middle East.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And naturally, Israel, often alongside the United States, is actively working to limit that Iranian influence.
Right.
It's almost like a high-stakes geopolitical chess match. It really is. Every move one side makes, it prompts a counter move from the other, often, behind the scenes.
On the shadows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
While we don't see, direct conventional warfare between Iran and Israel.
Not tanks rolling across borders.
No, not that. The conflict really plays out as a shadow war. That involves secret operations, cyber attacks targeting each other.
Can you give an example?
Well, there have been numerous reports, for instance, of both sides engaging in pretty sophisticated digital espionage, sometimes even physical sabotage, trying to disrupt the other's capabilities, their plans.
And if we think about how these regional power plays ramp up, one area that really ratchets up the tension, maybe the most volatile point, it has to be Iran's nuclear program.
Indeed. That's central. Iran is developing nuclear technology.
Yeah.
And for Israel, this is an incredibly serious concern.
More than just a concern, right?
Oh, yeah. The belief isn't just that it's a threat, but that it's an existential one.
Existential.
Right.
Eating.
Meaning, from Israel's viewpoint, a nuclear-armed Iran would fundamentally change the whole regional balance of power. Change it in a way that directly threatens its very existence as a state.
That's a terrifying thought. But then Israel takes action, right? Covert action.
It does. Israel uses various covert methods. We've seen reports, widely believed, of assassinations of scientists involved in the program.
Right.
And cyber attacks targeting nuclear facilities, like Stuxnet years ago.
So the question is, are these actions, the assassinations, the cyber attacks, are they actually effective long term? Do they stop Iran's progress, or is there a risk they just, make Iran more determined, maybe even speed things up?
That is the crucial question, isn't it? And it's heavily debated.
Yeah.
These actions can certainly cause delays, set back the program temporarily,
Sure.
but they also carry really significant risks of escalation. They could provoke retaliation. They could make any kind of diplomatic solution much, much harder to reach. It's a constant tightrope walk, a very dangerous one.
Yeah, you can see that. And okay, we absolutely cannot fully understand this conflict without talking about the role of the United States. They're such a major player.
Absolutely vital to consider.
Yeah.
You have Israel, which maintains a very close, long-standing alliance with the U.S. Strategic Partnership,
Mm.
while Iran, on the other hand, has this deeply ingrained anti-U.S. stance, rooted right in its 1979 revolution and its ideology.
So polar opposites in their relationship with the U.S.
Completely.
Yeah.
And this dynamic, it often means that U.S. interests in the Middle East, things like energy security, regional stability, they inadvertently lead to indirect clashes or heightened tensions between Israel and Iran.
Right.
It really underlines how major global powers can, well, significantly shape these regional dynamics, often without being directly involved in the fighting themselves, but just by influencing the whole geopolitical environment.
So bringing all these threads together then, it's quite remarkable how interconnected it all is. This isn't, like you said, just one thing. It's this complex tapestry woven from, okay, deep religious political ideology, the critical Palestine issue, this fierce regional power struggle, and then looming over it all, the existential nuclear question.
Exactly. They're all working together, feeding off each other, often intensifying the whole situation.
Yeah.
And what's really striking, I think, is how these layered motivations make the conflict just so incredibly difficult to resolve.
Yeah.
It's particularly intractable.
Intractable, yeah.
Because the history, it isn't just history. It's not just background context. It actively shapes how both sides act today, how they see each other today.
Yeah.
It makes finding a resolution incredibly challenging. And maybe something for you, the listener, to think about is this. When the conflict touches on the very identity, the core purpose, the perceived security needs of nations, how does that change the calculation for peace? Does it make compromise seem like surrender?
That's a powerful point.
It really makes you reflect, I think, on what these deep-rooted tensions mean, not just for the region, but for broader global stability, too.
A truly complex, vital picture indeed. Well, thank you for ditching us on this duck dive, helping us understand the core elements of the Iran-Israel conflict.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, we really invite you to continue your own exploration of these critical topics. Thanks for tuning in.